let's be brutally honest, nobody cares about your dreams as much as you do. Nobody is losing sleep over your struggles. Nobody is waiting to hand you success on a silver platter. And that's exactly why you need to stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for discipline. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone complain about their circumstances, expecting the world to feel sorry for them? But here's the truth. The world moves on. The only thing that truly matters is whether or not you do the work. Hard work is the greatest equalizer. It does not discriminate. It does not favor privilege over persistence. It does not reward those who simply want more. It rewards those who do more. The question is, which side are you on? See, most people waste time chasing approval. They want to be seen grinding instead of actually grinding. They want credit before they've even paid the price. But success doesn't work that way. Your results will always speak louder than your complaints. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because people don't care, it's because you haven't outworked your obstacles yet. The key to winning in life isn't to convince others to believe in you. It's to become so disciplined, so consistent, that your results make belief unavoidable. Stop focusing on proving yourself to people who aren't even watching. Instead, focus on improving yourself for the person you're becoming. Every second spent seeking validation is a second stolen from your progress. Every moment wasted explaining your struggles is a moment you could have spent solving them. So, let go of the noise. Let go of the need for applause. The work itself is the reward. If you want success, focus on what you can control. Your effort, your discipline, your execution, because at the end of the day, nobody cares about your excuses, but they will care about your results. So work hard, focus on you, and let your success be the loudest thing in the room. We live in a world where many people believe that success is something that happens to them. They wait for the perfect opportunity. They wait for someone to recognize their potential. They wait for a mentor, a lucky break, or a handout that will change everything. But here's the truth. Nobody is coming to save you. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also the most liberating realization you can have. Because once you understand that you are responsible for your own life, everything changes. Look around you. The most successful people in any industry, any field, any walk of life have one thing in common. They took ownership of their future. They stopped waiting for permission. They stopped expecting someone else to step in and make things happen for them. They decided that if they wanted something, they were going to go out and get it. Success is built, not given. That means you have to lay the foundation brick by brick. You have to put in the time, the effort, and the relentless work that others aren't willing to do. There's no shortcut, no magic formula, and no secret that only the elite know. The real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the willingness to show up and do the hard work, even when nobody is watching. Think about the people you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They didn't wake up one day and find themselves at the top. They sacrificed. They worked through failure. They kept pushing when everything around them told them to quit. And most importantly, they didn't wait for someone to hand them an opportunity. They created it. But too many people waste time looking for someone else to solve their problems. They blame their circumstances. They point fingers at their upbringing, their environment, or the people around them. And while it's true that life isn't fair, some people start with more advantages than others, the reality is that complaining doesn't change anything. Taking action does. You have two choices. You can either wait for someone to give you permission to succeed, or you can give yourself permission. You can either sit around and hope that someone saves you, or you can step up and save yourself. The moment you choose the latter is the moment your life begins to change. It won't be easy. In fact, it's going to be incredibly difficult. There will be days when you feel like quitting, when the obstacles seem too big, when the progress feels too slow. And that's when most people give up. They tell themselves that maybe success just isn't meant for them. But that's not true. Success isn't about luck. It's about consistency. It's about the people who keep going even when everything tells them to stop. It's about those who take complete ownership of their journey and refuse to let anyone else dictate their future. So stop waiting. Stop expecting someone to recognize your potential and do something about it. If you want something, earn it. If you have a goal, chase it. If you have a dream, build it. The moment you take full responsibility for your life is the moment you take back your power. Nobody is coming to save you. And that's a good thing, because the person who is meant to change your life is already here. We live in a time where many people believe they deserve success simply because they want it. They believe that their desires alone should be enough to bring them wealth, recognition, and status. But here's the truth. Life doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. The only currency that truly matters is hard work, not expectations, not entitlement, not waiting for someone else to give you a shot. Success does not care how much you think you deserve it. It only cares about how much effort you put in to earn it. Look around. How many people complain that they aren't successful, yet refuse to put in the effort required to get there? They expect a promotion because they've been at a job for years, but they never go the extra mile. They expect financial freedom, but aren't willing to learn, invest, or take risks. They expect respect, but they haven't done anything to deserve it. Here's the reality. Life doesn't hand out rewards for simply existing. There are no participation trophies in the real world. The ones who rise to the top do so because they are willing to do what others won't. They show up early. They stay late. They push through frustration. They don't waste time complaining. They use that energy to find solutions. Too many people get stuck in the mindset of waiting. They wait to be discovered. They wait for someone to acknowledge their potential. They wait for the world to validate them before they take action. But that's not how success works. If you're waiting for permission to be great, you'll be waiting forever. No one is sitting around looking for you, hoping to make your dreams come true. The people at the top are too busy working on their own dreams to stop and hand you yours. Instead of waiting to be noticed, make yourself undeniable. Instead of hoping someone will recognize your effort, put in so much work that they have to. The world doesn't ignore greatness, it ignores mediocrity. And the only way to separate yourself from the average is through relentless effort. Hard work is the only thing that can't be taken away from you. It is the great equalizer. You may not have the best connections, the wealthiest family, or the easiest path, but if you are willing to work harder than everyone else, you can outlast them. That's the secret no one wants to hear. The people at the top aren't always the smartest, they aren't always the most talented, but they are always the ones who put in the work when others stopped. If you want more out of life, you have to do more, not talk about doing more, not wish for more, but actually put in the hours, the sweat, the sacrifice. People spend too much time looking for shortcuts when the answer has always been the same: work harder. Entitlement is a disease that keeps people stuck. It convinces them that they should already have what they haven't earned. It makes them bitter when they see others succeeding because they believe they deserve the same rewards without the same effort. But here's something you must understand. The world does not care about what you think you deserve. It only responds to results. So if you aren't getting what you want, ask yourself a simple question: have I truly put in the work to deserve it? If the answer is yes, then keep going. The world may not recognize your work immediately, but consistency always pays off. The people who keep showing up day after day are the ones who eventually break through. No one owes you anything, not your employer, not your parents, not society. The only person responsible for your success is you. And that's the best news you could ever receive, because it means that your future isn't in someone else's hands, it's in yours. So stop waiting, stop expecting, stop looking for recognition before you've even built something worth recognizing. Put your head down and work. Master your craft. Build your skills. Push yourself harder than you ever thought possible. Because in the end, effort is the only thing that will separate you from the rest. Not what you think you deserve. Not what you wish for. In life, there are two types of people: those who complain about their problems and those who find solutions, those who make excuses and those who make progress. The harsh truth is this: nobody respects excuses, no matter how valid they may be. What people respect, what the world rewards, is results. We all know someone who always has a reason for why they aren't where they want to be. The economy's bad. Nobody's giving me a chance. It's not fair. These statements may even be true. But the problem is, no matter how much you complain, your situation will not change unless you change. If you want success, if you want to be respected, if you want to make a difference, then your only focus should be on results. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Think about the most successful people you admire. Whether in business, sports, or any other field, you will notice one thing: they don't make excuses. They don't spend time talking about what's wrong or why things are hard. They focus on what they can do to improve. On the other hand, people who struggle in life tend to focus on everything that is working against them. They believe the world is unfair, which it is, and they use that as an excuse to stay stuck. But here's what they don't realize: excuses don't improve your situation. Only execution does. Imagine two people in the same circumstances, both facing challenges, both starting with little. One chooses to focus on solutions, works hard, adapts, and eventually rises above. The other chooses to complain about how unfair everything is. 10 years later, one is successful, and the other is still stuck in the same place. A lot of people waste energy looking for sympathy. They want others to acknowledge their struggles. They want validation for their pain. But the reality is, sympathy doesn't change your situation. It may feel good temporarily, but it doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't build your business. It doesn't get you closer to your goals. Now imagine if all that energy spent complaining was redirected toward producing value. Instead of telling everyone how hard things are, what if you use that time to develop a skill, improve yourself, or solve a problem? Results don't come from talking about your problems. They come from working through them. They come from finding solutions, learning, growing, and taking action, even when it's hard. People respect those who bring value. Nobody respects someone who constantly complains but never does anything to fix their situation. The world rewards action, not words. Everyone faces difficulties. Everyone has obstacles. Some people start with more advantages than others. That's true. But complaining about it won't change anything. The only thing that matters is what you do about it. Many of the most successful people in history came from nothing. They faced hardships, rejection, and obstacles that seemed impossible, but they didn't let those struggles define them. They used them as fuel to push harder. Your struggles are not an excuse to stay where you are. They're an opportunity to build resilience, to grow stronger, and to prove to yourself that you can overcome anything. Success isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's not even about intelligence. It's about discipline. Because at the end of the day, no matter how gifted you are, if you can't control yourself, your habits, your focus, your time, then you'll never reach your full potential. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's what separates the winners from the dreamers. The people who achieve their goals are not necessarily the most talented, but they are the most consistent. They show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. And the biggest battle you'll ever fight isn't against an external enemy. It's not against competition, bad circumstances, or lack of resources. The real battle is against your own distractions. Every day you have two choices: to stay focused or to give in to distractions, to push forward or to procrastinate, to work on your goals or to waste time on things that don't matter. Most people lose this battle without even realizing it. They wake up, check their phone first thing in the morning, scroll through social media, watch meaningless videos, and before they know it, half the day is gone. Then they complain that they don't have time for their goals. But the truth is, they had the time, they just didn't have the discipline to use it wisely. The people who succeed in life are the ones who take control of their time. They don't let distractions dictate their day. They don't allow instant gratification to pull them away from their long-term goals. They understand that every time they choose to focus, they are investing in their future. And that's the key to everything. If you can master yourself, everything else will follow. Most people struggle with discipline because they rely on motivation. They think they need to feel like working before they actually do it. But that's the wrong mindset. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel inspired, and other days you won't. And if you only take action when you feel motivated, you'll never build the habits needed for success. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about feelings. Discipline is showing up when you're tired. It's putting in the work even when you don't want to. It's doing what needs to be done because you made a commitment to yourself, not because you feel like it in the moment. Think about the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers. Do you think they always feel like training, working, or practicing? Of course not. But they do it anyway, and that's why they're at the top. We live in an age where distractions are everywhere. Social media, entertainment, endless notifications. Everything is designed to steal your attention. And the more you give in, the harder it becomes to focus. Distractions are like a slow poison. They don't seem harmful at first, but over time, they destroy your potential. Every time you let yourself get distracted, you're training your brain to avoid deep work, you're weakening your ability to focus, and in the long run, that will cost you everything. If you want to achieve something great, you need to take control of your attention. That means eliminating distractions, turning off notifications, creating a workspace that helps you focus, setting strict rules for yourself. It's not easy, but the people who master this skill are the ones who rise above the rest. Self-discipline is not about willpower alone, it's about structure. Here's a simple formula to develop unshakable discipline. Set clear goals, know exactly what you want. If your goals aren't clear, you'll get distracted easily. Create a daily routine. Discipline thrives on structure. Plan your day in advance and stick to it. Eliminate distractions. Identify what wastes your time and cut it out. Be ruthless about protecting your focus. Hold yourself accountable. Keep track of your progress. Set deadlines. If you fail, analyze why and adjust. Take action. Every day, discipline is built through repetition. Even if it's a small step, do something daily that moves you forward. Success isn't about doing the most work in a single day. It's about doing the right work consistently over time. Most people think discipline is restrictive. They think it takes away their freedom. But the truth is, discipline is the key to freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you create more opportunities. When you are disciplined with your health, you have more energy. When you are disciplined with your work, you create financial security. Without discipline, you become a slave to your impulses. You let distractions control your life. You become reactive instead of proactive. And in the end, you wonder why success seems so far away. But when you master yourself, everything changes. You become unstoppable. You take full control of your future. So ask yourself, are you winning the battle against your distractions? Because at the end of the day, your results are a direct reflection of your discipline. In a world obsessed with opinions, validation, and external approval, the most powerful thing you can do is tune it all out and focus on your work. The more you chase validation, the more you give others control over your destiny. Every great achievement in history came from someone who refused to be distracted by noise. The innovators, the leaders, the high achievers. None of them wasted time seeking approval. They weren't concerned with likes, comments, or the opinions of people who weren't doing anything meaningful themselves. Instead, they stayed locked in on their mission. Because at the end of the day, your success isn't determined by what people think about you, it's determined by what you produce. Too many people waste their energy trying to impress others. They hesitate to take risks because they're afraid of judgment. They hold back their ideas because they worry about criticism, and as a result, they never move forward. Seeking approval slows you down because it shifts your focus from execution to expectation. Instead of asking, how can I make progress today? People start asking, what will others think? And that's the fastest way to kill momentum. The truth is, no matter what you do, people will always have something to say. If you fail, they'll judge you. If you succeed, they'll judge you even more. So why waste time trying to please them? Stop trying to win over people who don't matter. Stop waiting for permission to go after what you want. Because the people who spend their time judging others are never the ones actually doing the work. Success isn't about having the loudest voice or the most approval. It's about who executes, who puts their head down and gets things done. When you focus on the work instead of the noise, several things happen. You move faster without constantly second guessing yourself. You gain momentum. You build real confidence. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It comes from competence. The more you work, the more capable you become. You attract the right people. When you stop seeking validation, you naturally start drawing in those who respect action over talk. You become unstoppable. The world's distractions no longer pull you in because you're too busy building something meaningful. The key is to shift your mindset. Instead of worrying about who's watching, ask yourself what needs to be done today. Instead of craving recognition, crave results. Distractions come in many forms: social media, gossip, negativity, even well-meaning advice from people who don't understand your vision. If you let it in, it will derail you. Cut down on social media. Stop scrolling and start executing. Every minute spent on useless noise is a minute stolen from your goals. Choose your circle wisely. Surround yourself with people who push you forward, not those who slow you down with doubt and negativity. Don't announce, just do. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less likely you are to actually do it. Let your results speak. Stay mission-driven. Always come back to why you started. When you focus on the bigger picture, small distractions lose their power over you. The best way to silence the doubters, the critics, and the distractions: win. Let your success be the answer. One of the biggest mistakes people make is letting criticism affect them. They take negative comments personally. They let doubt creep in. But here's what you need to remember. People who criticize the most usually achieve the least. The loudest voices are rarely the most successful. You can't please everyone. Even if you play it safe, someone will have a problem with it. Critics don't build legacies, doers do. Nobody remembers the people who just talked. They remember those who acted. So why waste time on negativity? The only opinion that should matter to you is your own, your results, your growth, your progress. That's what counts. At the end of the day, the people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who constantly seek approval. They are the ones who put their heads down and do the work. So stop explaining yourself. Stop waiting for permission. Stop caring about who supports you and who doesn't. Because when you're focused on your work, the right people will notice and the wrong people will become irrelevant. Ignore the noise, stay locked in, and let your results do all the talking. Success isn't about luck. It isn't about waiting for the perfect opportunity or hoping things will magically fall into place. Success is a byproduct, a result of one thing and one thing only: relentless execution. Every great achievement, every extraordinary breakthrough, every game-changing success story comes from someone who showed up, put in the work, and refused to quit every single day. It's not about talent. It's not about intelligence. It's not about connections. While those things might give you an advantage, they mean nothing without consistent effort. Most people wish for success. They talk about their dreams. They say, one day I'll do this. But wishing doesn't change anything. The only thing that turns dreams into reality is execution. The dreamers, they have big ambitions. They talk about what they want to do, but they never take action. They're always waiting for the right time. The doers, they don't waste time talking. They take action, even when it's messy, even when it's imperfect. They understand that progress comes from doing, not just planning. The gap between success and failure is not intelligence or luck. It's the difference between thinking about it and actually doing it. One of the biggest reasons people fail to execute is because they wait for the perfect moment. They want the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, the perfect timing. If you're waiting for everything to be just right, you'll be waiting forever. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones with flawless plans. They're the ones who start anyway. They figure things out as they go. They learn through action, adjust as needed, and keep moving forward. Another mistake people make is thinking that success comes from massive bursts of effort. They think they can work hard for a few weeks and expect life-changing results, but that's not how it works. Success isn't about working hard once in a while. It's about showing up every single day, no matter what. The best entrepreneurs don't work when they feel like it. They execute relentlessly. The best leaders don't wait for motivation. They show up regardless of their mood. The people at the top of their game aren't always the most talented. They're the most consistent. Because success isn't about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do repeatedly. It's about what you do repeatedly. There are plenty of talented people who never succeed because they don't put in the effort. And there are plenty of people with average talent who dominate their fields because they outwork everyone else. Talent means nothing without execution. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you don't put in the work, it's useless. The people who succeed are those who show up even when they don't feel like it. They put in the hours when no one is watching. They take small steps forward every single day, knowing that over time, those steps compound into something great. Most people fail to execute because they have an excuse for everything. But here's the reality. Nobody is ever fully ready. Nobody has perfect conditions. The people who succeed aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who found a way no matter what. So instead of making excuses, take full responsibility for your results. If something isn't working, adjust. If you're struggling, find a solution. But whatever you do, don't stop executing. You don't get fit by thinking about going to the gym. You get fit by showing up and training. You don't build a business by talking about starting one. You build it by putting in the work. You don't become successful by wishing for it. You achieve it through relentless action, day after day, year after year. Success isn't magic. It's not reserved for a lucky few. It's available to anyone willing to put in the work and stay consistent. Because in the end, the people who win aren't the ones who had the best ideas or the most potential. The winners are the ones who took action and never stopped. At the end of the day, success is simple, but not easy. It doesn't come from wishing, waiting, or seeking approval. It comes from relentless execution, from showing up every single day, and from refusing to let distractions, excuses, or fear slow you down. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. The only way forward is through consistent effort, self-discipline, and an unshakable focus on your mission. So stop waiting for the perfect time. It will never come. Stop seeking validation. It doesn't matter. Stop making excuses because they won't get you anywhere. Instead, put in the work, stay locked in, and let your results speak for themselves. Because in the end, success doesn't go to the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. It goes to the ones who show up and execute relentlessly every single day. Thank you. Stay focused, keep grinding, and make it happen.